Right, here we go. I've got something a little bit different for you today. We have, as you can see from the jerseys, Shimano Super Sunday. It's not a race; it's a ride out, and I believe there's uh, several pros riding out on this today. Although I've not done my research on who they are, but I stumbled across this rather by accident. It's Sunday morning in the UK. I was just having a look what I'd do around 9, 10 a.m. start the day. And I just saw over 500 people signed into this race. So I thought, let's have a look. It's not a race, sorry. This event. Did a bit of research after that. And apparently this will be on consecutive Sundays. But yeah, I think there's 469 as you can see top right, but I think it does get to 500 shortly. There's a De Wilde there, the Belgian, is almost holding. It's a banded race, which is new to me. And it's on the French course Roule Ma Poule, 16 and a little bit miles, and I think 750 plus feet. I want to say that. So again, it's not a race, but it's a good opportunity for me to have a good stretch the legs and enjoy the ride. Having said that, yeah, they're not going slowly. They're not just creeping along. I'm doing 4 watts a kilo. Sorry, about what am I doing here? 5 watts a kilo to stay at the front here. And as you'll see, that's pretty much par for the course at the front. Not 5 watts a kilo, but it is on the climbs. But it's at least 3.5, 4 watts a kilo at the front. The aim is not to win the race, but I do want to, have a good session, a good fitness session. So yeah, just cruising along. Now, apparently, there's no drafting, so there's no draft effect. As you can see, there is no draft graphic on the top centre. So that seems to be the case, which is a bit weird because if you're on Zwift Racing, you have this propensity to sit right in the draft, get right in the middle of this bubble. But that's not the case. So look at the graphic on the top right. You've got 2 climbs, one right at the start, big descent. I'm going to say about 250 feet. And you've got one right at the end to the finish, to the banner. Literally about 1.5 miles to go. So I'm having to put it in here just to stay on the front. Now you might notice, look, everyone's catching up to me. I would be ordinarily, doing about 320 watts there. But what you don't know is this felt like I was doing about 350, 370 watts. Usually if I stand up there, I'm well over 400 on the orange, but I'm having to do that just to stay in the race. And I started thinking, and I don't know, it's psychological. Look, everyone's passing me now. This isn't a race. No one's. Look at the watts per kilo on the right. 4.5, less than 4, 3.8, 3.9. But I'm struggling to stay in the race here. The race. I keep saying the race. Struggling to stay at the front, which is the intention. Now, no one's really going off the front. So I was trying to question what's happening, and I think the conclusion was, as you will see, I'm being stretched, but the output I'm putting in that's transmitting to Zwift seems to be between 30 is an absolute minimum and 50 watts below what I feel I would be doing. Now, typically on a race of this distance, if it was a race, I'm shaking my head there because I'm getting dropped again. Typically, I would end up averaging, it's between 260 and 270 watts, which would be, let's say, 3.5 to 3.6 watts a kilo for me. Now, yes, I'm at 281 on the left average, but it's just the start and we've been climbing. I'd expect to be well over 300 average if it was light for light. Now, I raced only 3 days ago, and I was hitting those between 260, 270 on, I think it was a 12-mile course, slightly less elevation. But so I think I'm being duped by 30 or 50 watts, and it just gets worse. I should easily be in that front pipe, not falling behind. I'm struggling to do over 300 there. There's still a good bit of the climb to do. So I was really, it was affecting me psychologically because everyone else is chatting away, as you can see on the right, cruising. Look again, no one's really pushing. Yeah, there's a 4.5 watts a kilo there, but no one's really pushing it. There's no 6 watts a kilo or anything. There wouldn't be. It's just confusing and disappointing. I've had this before, you see, with the previous trainer I had, and fairly and good effort on Zwift. They took the trainer back and swapped it out because there was no way of correcting it. There was no calibration. This was about 4 years ago, and I hope it's not that same instance. So I'm really pushing here, but look, I'm not even putting. I'm just putting over 300, but it felt like about 350, 375. Again for the final bit, and I was just really determined to stay in the front pack here. Someone else is saying it's a quick start, yes, but I think that's relative to the fact that it was meant to be a bit of a cruise today. So I'm standing up. It's good practice anyway, all over left and right. 288 average. Putting in 400 there, that's considerable. I suspect I was putting the equivalent at least 450 to 500, at least, to get to the front there. Absolutely shattered. And look, I sat down and I can't even summon up 270 watts there, sat down. I'd usually be doing about 320. So anyway, I thought, right, let's try and get this out of my head. It's perhaps just me. The fact that there's no drafting was weird. And this banded race, I asked people in the chat later on, is anybody else experiencing this? Now, it could be, possibly. I'm on Bluetooth, so it's not the ANT connection. It's nothing like that. Is it something to do with the number of riders? I ask in the chat in a minute, and somebody does say it seemed to be affecting them as well. So consider what I said earlier. I average 260 to 270 on let's say roughly similar course, and that's on a race. Now that's with drafting, so there's ample opportunity there to sit back and do low 200s in respect to my wattage, because you can just sit in the draft and get a break, get a rest. You can't here, so therefore you would expect this to be a higher average wattage. Now I'm averaging 293, granted, on the left, which is well above my FTP of 276, but it's only 2 miles, and any race I would be doing well over 300 on that climb. So we're going downhill now. Now, look at my wattage again. I've not just relaxed here. It's less than 190, 200. So me picking up the pace, I should be cruising it. I should easily be doing 250 here, but I had to do 250 to get back in it. So it's just really confusing me and really annoying. And I do whinge a bit in the comments in a minute. So I've had to put it right back in to get to the front again. But look at the wattage on the top left. I am pedalling, by the way, as you can see. Not even doing 200. Almost 200 calories done, incidentally. Also, I tell you where there's definitely a problem, because Look, I've only just shifted up to 15th gear. I couldn't do that previous climb. I was in 14th gear, so I had to shift down a gear than I usually do, and I think that would probably make the difference, the 30 to 50 watts. I'm in 15th now, and I've not been ill this week. As I said, I'm at pretty much peak fitness. I've had 2 days rest, actually. Fine. There's no silly temperature in the shed. Look, I'm dropping right back there. So I do 300 watts, which doing 286 I was really pushing. I should have put the heart monitor on to really show you. And we're on a descent. I shouldn't be struggling here. I should not be struggling. 3 miles done, 354 feet. So you look at the course, got a descent, and we've got a little elevated bump, perhaps 30% into the course. And then it's largely, because it's the French course, it's largely flat right to the end. As I said, I think 1.7 or 8 miles, and then it's up that climb again to the finish. So 12.8 miles to go. I'm going to fast forward it in a minute. There are a few power-ups. So I'm not sure why you'd need power-ups on a banded group ride for fun as well. But this is the first time I'm doing it. I'm going to just take everything as it is, but I just wish I'd had that extra. Well, my genuine normal watts would have been nice, and I wouldn't be struggling here. However, there is a flip side. It's made it a better workout, but I was determined not to do a race today, but it's seemingly feeling like a bit of a race. 263 average on the left. I'm in 15th. We're about to get on the flat. So I'd like to know if anybody else experienced what I experienced, or is it just localised to my trainer and my setup, a bit of an anomaly. There was no connection issue that I'd seen. Is it because of the number of riders? I don't know. But I've not had that on some of the recent Zwift Games races. Having said that, even at the most popular premium time racing, I think it was no more than 300, 350 in my category, and this is pushing on another 75% again. So 4 miles completed, 13 minutes completed, 12 miles to go. 260 average. So yeah, that would be normal. However, you'll see that come down. I'm able to stay in the pike. But it's really difficult to stay in this front pike. I'll be honest, I don't know what the effect of the banding is. Is that a contributor? And what do they mean by that? If there's no draft, is this another physical effect in Zwift because of a collection of riders that but isn't draft? I don't know. Average is dropping and dropping. 356 feet climbed, which is over half. But no one's putting out anything ridiculous on the left. I've got no watts a kilo there, and I assure you I wasn't doing no watts a kilo. Weird. I'm noticing the reaction to my input is also delayed slightly. It's probably definitely a localized issue here. Look, I'm turning. There's another weird effect I had. I'll tell you in a minute. I think we speed it up in a minute because this is just much of a muchness and me whinging along. It's annoying the thing with the graphics there where all the riders disappear. That's really annoying. Yeah, look, it's obviously a bit quicker than they usually do, so that's answered that to an extent, but it doesn't explain why I've lost 30 to 50 watts. Almost 5 miles completed. I've pushed through to the front there, so we'll go up a little climb there, having to stand up. Look, I'm getting dropped. That'd never happen. Not at the rates and the watts per kilo with everybody else. But I stayed with it. I thought a bit of a fitness session. Look at my average on the top left. We're down almost at 240 average. But I really did. I was sweating and mopping my brow just as a normal race, to be honest. And that's because I felt I was putting in, perhaps I'd be at 260, 270 average here. I'm in 14th gear as well, notice, on the flat. Now that says it all. I'd be in at least 15th gear on the flat here, and more recently, when the pace has been upped, I'm in 16th gear. But let's be conservative and say 15th gear. There's no way I'd need to be in 14th gear, and consequently I'm under 200 watts. 5 miles to go. 507 feet climbed, approaching 32 minutes and 25 miles an hour. Perfectly flat for the next 3 miles at least, and then we prepare for that climb, which, as you'd seen from the first one, I think it gets up to 9, 10, 11%. Speed this up to the base of the climb. 229 average. Definitely, I mean, that says it all. I was putting in the same effort, but I'm at least 30 watts down. Here we go. 1.5 miles to go, and we've started the climb. And I was dreading this, to be honest. Look how everyone's passing me. There's no way that would happen normally. I'll be putting a good 3, alright, because it's at the end of the race, let's say at least 300 watts on this slight incline. I'll be standing and putting 400 on the orange. To give you some context, you can see there is a positioning there. So I've tried to push through into the front group here. 66 out of 511, but that's pointless really because it doesn't record and it's not affecting ZRS, it's not a race. 2k to go. Look, I'm well down on power there. No idea why. Really struggling to stay in this front group of 70, let's say. Never usually climbing on the yellow to stay in the pack, and the pack are only doing, look, 4.5 watts a kilo, less than 4. There's no way they'd be walking away from me at this stage. I'll be right on the front. Let's just see it through. Look, just being dropped there. Can't even pull 200 watts there. Done 605 calories. I mean, that does represent the input on this ride. 1 mile to go. 43 minutes almost completed. We're on 3%. And look how far behind the graphic is on the top. Still 4%, 5%, and we're actually on the blue from the indicator in the middle graphic. So it's miles behind. That's another issue. there's a massive delay. So I get dropped there, 0.9 to go. So it's just a matter of fighting for a place here. Everyone else seems to be putting it in, to be honest, to finish their race. Be nice to finish top 75 if I can. 0.8 of a mile to go, 5.3 watts a kilo. Somebody's saying, is that the person on the front? Stand up a bit. Good exercise anyway, and I've not enjoyed it though, I've got to say. Something I've been working on, trying to stand up for longer. Becomes really effective in the Zwift races, in my opinion. Longer you can stand up and put the watts out. That's if indeed you can't put high watts for long periods sat down. Look, I just get dropped there. It wouldn't happen, that. Not so far back anyway. No one's putting 4 watts a kilo out. Or one is there. So 2 big oranges to go, 0.6 of a mile to go, 720 feet complete. 15.6 miles complete. It is a great course, this, incidentally. See the finish there. '78th, just as an indicator, to 5:11. Now, there's either been a lot of riders dropped, or that front group. Yeah, that's another thing. That indicator on the top right's incorrect as well. It positions me as halfway there, which obviously, and there's not a group behind. That's the key. There's a big banded set of riders, so it's not representative as it would be in a normal Zwift race. So I can ignore that indicator on the top left. Look at that fall off there, that weird fall off at the end. I don't think that occurs. 85th, so I'll just pull forward, try and get into the 70s. From the yellow bit, one big orange push, 0.3 of a mile. Down in 11th gear, that says it all. Weird. Pushing right out here, I'm being pushed right back here. I'll be struggling to get a top 100th place here. Never mind top 70th. Come on guys, last push, correct, yeah. 0.2, so coming up to 1,000 feet. There we go. One last push. Try and gain some places. It's been a great, in one respect, 600, probably finished 675 calories, I guess. Here we go, come on, one big push. 600 feet left. Everyone else is doing the same thing. Been left behind a bit here. Oh, that's alright. Taking a few places. Round the corner and through the banner in any second. Sprint into the line. There we go, 88th. Nothing impressive about that. You see, not many riders behind me, but that's the only group. And yet it says 511 riders. Weird. Anyway, you have a go yourselves. And I will look out for next Sundays, and I'm going to try and calibrate on a race beforehand. I calibrated 3 times on here, by the way, and twice during the race, but I was just letting the pedals go. Anyway, thanks for watching. Speak soon.